our final list lined up. We have blue-eye control. We have Gruul Aggro, excuse me.
Cool.
I know
Mid-range.
you love Gruul. But with the ability to play that long and short, you have to wonder where blurring the lines. Is it tempo, velocity, traction? All the buzzwords aside, Jerry, how are you feeling going into this? Because I know that you love the Gruul deck. You talked about how that's what you would be playing, right? So I assume that's like, where your heart's at. What are your thoughts going into this finals? If you were in that seat, what would you be thinking about playing against Azorius Control in the finals here for the BOP 1K?
I'm just saying there are 4 giant growths. That does not exactly scream mid-range to me.
Is giant growth not also a removal spell in combat, which should double as like the original fatal push? Jerry, but before we can answer that question, our finals are starting. I can't quite hear you. The finals have started. I have to leave that question on if giant growth was the original fatal push. Make sure to tweet at Val Joan Rivers. That way you can let her know what your thoughts are on that. As we have our opening hand here, and it looks like Gruul's on the play, Jerry.
That is definitely good for the Gruul deck. You know what is not good for the Gruul deck, though, is a bunch of sweepers, a bunch of temporary lockdowns, depopulates, March of Otherworldly Light being a 1-mana removal spell if you want it to be. Fighting through all this stuff is kind of difficult.
It's going to be a lot. We're going to have to see what the decision is now. We do only have 2 lands here for Sacha. We're going to have to see, will she want to keep this? So far, she has, mulligan these kind of hands a lot, but might be a situation with Get Lost and these depops that, we want to have it early. We'll have to see. It looks like we did take the mulligan. We hit the 3-3 split like we've been seeing if you were to put a land back, but no interaction for those first 3 turns of the game there, Jerry.
I can't imagine a universe where the Gruul deck gives you enough time for the second deluge. So honestly, if you do keep this hand, I might just keep all 4 lands to go with that depop to ensure that you have that.
And it looks like we are going to keep here on our mulligan to 5. Looks a lot like our 6. Sacha realized she couldn't keep that 6, but on 5, she's like, well, if I'm going to get lucky, I'm going to try and get lucky. Looks like we're emoting, potentially. I'm realizing Sasha's doing it for us and not the opponent, which I have some respect for and some not so much. I'm going to figure with that. Anyways,
I appreciate that. That's very nice. That's thoughtful.
Yeah, I like that we're getting the inside look into Sasha's mind. I just wish we shared it with the class, as Picnic Ruiner comes down. And looks like we're thinking about what we're going to do here. We're going to play the island. I like this, representing No More Lies.
I do like this. You just put the fear of God in them. You got nothing. You just on air, but maybe it slows them down a little bit.
Yeah, if Azeem is like, okay, I feel really good, she mulled the 5, maybe I'll just, slightly press my advantage a little bit instead of going all in. We are going to see the No More Lies bluff.
Yeah, love that. That's got to be some full control action, right?
Yep. Giant Growth, the original Doomblade coming down, going to grow the monsters with Spear. 6 times 2 is a lot of damage, Jerry.
It is a lot of damage. Yeah, looking more like a fireball and less like a Doomblade, that Giant Growth, but
yeah. And Sasha's down to 3. It's a tough spot. We drew the No More Lies, but I think there's no more hope of this game. No. Sasha has no way to interact. We have the Agonjo, but we're dead to the other 2 creatures. So even if we do hit the Picnic Ruiner and we have all lands, we're going to need
even if Sacha had like 2 removal spells, any one of these creatures could be lethal.
Yep. And yeah, we see the Slick Shot come down here. All right. I think if I was Sacha, and this is incredibly nitpicky, it doesn't really matter, I would have No More Lies the Slick Shot to make it seem like I just last turn was like, oh, I just didn't want to fight over it, and get Azeem's head a little like, what's her range on No More Lies? She's all over the place. As we're going to see an attack for about 40 come in there. Sasha's going to be down a game, gets to be on the play and gets a sideboard here, but not how you want to start off your finals appearance.
No, not at all. But blue-white is one of the decks in the format that can improve dramatically after sideboard, where you get to do things like shave some of your clunky, inefficient cards in a matchup like this and bring in more things like temporary lockdown, dust animus, just cheaper ways to interact and buy time.
Yep. Yeah, we see once again, Sacha sort of quickly put some cards over to the side. Looks like she's probably wanting to cut some of her Jaces. Her farewell. grabbed our lockdowns, thinking about our Dust Animuses.
I understand that the Gruul deck is, it's not like traditional mono red where it's like, you know, their creatures like a 2/2 or a 3/3 and Dust Animus is always going to beat it in combat. Like you giant growth a Slick Shot or whatever, and your Dust Animus is jump blocking, and that doesn't feel good. But I think for most of the games, the Dust Animus does end up being pretty good, even if it's not like a lock to completely stabilize the board. So
yeah, I think even just like the hidden mode of 2/3 for 2 is just pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's fine.
yeah,
How much worse than a Get Lost is that in a matchup like this?
exactly. Yeah, and if you get Azeem to do something like giant growth to push through a Monastery Swiftspear or something like that, then you're saving all that points for later. Now Picnic Ruiners are slower, or maybe they spend turns going wide on the board to eventually go around the Animist, and like you're saying, it's like a kill spell, like a fog. You bought some time, so yeah, I think Dust Animist, like you said, not traditional mono red here, but still, at various points in the game is really helpful.
It's not an ideal card to have, but neither is something like Jace the Perfected Mind or
Yeah.
Farewell,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's weird where like once you get to like the Farewell versus Dust Animus mana, I think Dust Animus is actually even better than Farewell, which is kind of weird to think about. This is actually does in the game, which is something you have to think about. Sacha here is going to keep her 7. She's happy to see it in a pretty solid 7.
It is solid. It is lacking double white, but given enough time, Demolition Field can fix that, and then no more lies on turn 2, and then just kind of hoping that bridges until some of the later, more powerful stuff.
Yep. We did pick up a Farewell for our turn 2 draw. Not exactly when you want to draw that one, but beggars can't be choosers. His Picnic Ruiner is going to come down. No more lies going to answer it, and then Demolition Field here.
So no basic forest in the Gruul deck. I think that's reasonably worth noting.
Yeah. And it looks like Sacha might be just waiting a little bit, trying to represent. I might have some counterspell stuff before, going for a Demolition Field to have the lockdown, which makes a good bit of sense, right? Maybe you can, get them to play a couple creatures or something when your man doesn't look that way, and then clean up. Audacity is going to buff up the Swiftspear.
Yeah, get in for some points this turn, and then if your Swiftspears died to like a depopulate or something, you would also just get a card from the Audacity. Little bit different in the face of temporary lockdown, though.
Yep. Secret Illusion Forest tapped. Make it colorless. Maybe a little 2-mana spell. Might get like a Seek the Beast action.
Maybe two copies of those, no more in the sideboard. That's about the only thing it could be, other than just floating the colorless for value.
Yeah, technically optimally correct. Don't want Mason Clark on you when you're going back watching the VOD, as it was the Beast. This card continues to impress.
Again, going back into very, very old formats.
Yeah, and pick your poison off the top there, Jerry, means this lockdown truly is temporary.
I think that's okay. Sacha picked up a second copy, and I believe does not get the Audacity back from this.
Yeah, I don't actually know how that works.
Unless Azeem plays a creature first, I believe.
Sure, because you need to have a legal target ahead of time, right? So this Slickshot show-off would count.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Time to see do Mason and Jerry truly understand the game system when it gets weird. And it looks like we did. Congratulations to us there. And Audacity goes on the Slickshot, and we're going to see a monstrous raid on the Swiftspear. Is this lethal? I think it's lethal, Jerry. And congratulations to Azeem winning the tournament. Wow, Gruul prowess just absolutely. Board got wiped the turn prior, didn't matter, killed on the next turn. Congratulations, and really a masterclass there and sort of, playing your turns out. Great showing from Sacha. We are going to see her at our end of the year invitational. She did an amazing job. Second place, nothing to scoff at. But wow, what a finish.
Yeah, the Demolition Field giving Azeem the mana to Seek the Beast in a situation where otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Maybe that was it. I wonder if Sacha could have like demolition fielded main phase or something. Like, would that have helped? I don't know, but like either way, Gruul Aggro killing turn 4 through a temporary lockdown is pretty impressive.
Yeah, really shows what this deck can do, and is really a big, I think, statement about just how powerful this deck is in current standard. And we talked a little bit about rotation coming up. I don't think this deck's losing a whole lot, Jerry. So this might be something where we are if you're thinking about picking up a deck or something, you want to do that, you can look to do it there with that deck. That might be something that's pretty exciting and powerful going forward. But Jerry, that's going to do it for our 1K here at the BOP. Make sure to follow this channel. That way you don't miss the future ones. Hopefully we'll be seeing you here from the booth with those future events. If not, Jerry, I'm going to be in the streets. I'm going to be trying to qualify. So you're going to see me around when it comes to these things personally. Before we give our personal sign-off, so I do want to give, once again, a huge shout-out to Heavy Play, our sponsor. You can use code BOPMTG for 10% off that. Once again, thank you to everyone watching on Twitch. Make sure to click the follow button. That way you don't miss any of the future BOP invitational events. And a huge thank you to all the patrons who make this support viable for these tournaments. And Jerry, one of the cool things about the Patreon is if you hit a certain tier, which I believe is the $15 a month tier, you get free entry into these tournaments. Well, Jerry, these tournaments cost $15 a month. So you're literally getting free entry along with articles written by players like Sky Sweeney. So make sure to go check that out as well. There should be a link to that in Nile's profile here on Twitch. And once again, thank you to her for putting on this event. And Jerry, thank you so much for joining me in the booth today to get to do commentary together. I had a blast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is honestly dream come true. Get to be in the booth with you. This is awesome. I just want to hang out with you anyway. So
yeah,
why not do that while watch some excellent people play Magic?
Yeah, it was great. I love to watch Magic. It was great to hang out with you, buddy, and do this in the booth. And hopefully now we'll have us back. And if not, maybe we'll just have to play the tournament, like I said, right? Then you and I can be in the finals. And then, that way we force to get back on coverage with Nile. So thank you so much to everyone watching. We had a blast, and we can't wait to see you at the next one. Stay tuned to social media to find out the dates for that.